waste a lot of energy, makes the right adjustments, and then just bulldozes people. I would say Natan is the scrappier of the two fighters. Not that Andy Murasaki isn't explosive. He's extremely powerful, but
oh, he can scrap.
Natan seems to be a little more wild, let's say, aggressive.
Yeah, I think it's a really good way of putting it. You know, the Andy Murasaki now, he's had a couple of seasons as a black belt. You know, he's hit the finals of major tournaments, including the Worlds, including the Pans. And the thing about Andy Murasaki is that he's always been a very mature competitor. Even from a young age, he's looked like a competitor much older than he is, with just tons of experience. He doesn't really, it's not that he doesn't risk anything. It's not that he can't. He certainly can. He can go out there and scrap with anybody. But he's just so composed and has such a measured approach to his matches, to his opponents. I think that comes with confidence. I think that comes with experience. And just his style as well. He just really demolishes his opponents when he gets a hold of them, and it starts enacting that pressure passing. And I think that Chueng is doing a smart move in keeping the upper bodies as far apart as possible, because the moment that the Andy Murasaki is able to make upper body contact, that could be the downfall of Chueng. You know, Murasaki gets that upper body control, and he's so powerful. He's so short and stocky, and if he can get that top pin, I mean, we saw it in his last two matches. He was able to pass, mount, arm triangle, choke in the exact same sequence, and his opponents really couldn't stop it. The only thing you can do is try and keep him as far away as possible and get your game going. And we see the double pant grips from Natan Chueng. He's got the like a kind of a, not quite the single leg X. But it's almost as if the foot is at the hip, and instead of his foot on the hip, he's got it hooked underneath the thigh. Switches between the two. There's a little long step type move from Andy Murasaki and just taking some pressure off.
Oh, now he's in open territory. This is where Andy thrives here, mixing up the distance passing with the close range stuff. Natan able to recompose though. Looks like double lasso, kind of tough to tell.
Yeah, I think you're right. You really see Andy Murasaki go backwards. You know, there's a nice little throw by of the inside leg. Natan Chueng brings the top leg, the left leg over the top and tries to make a frame, kicks away. But the control of the bottom leg from Andy Murasaki, he still got it. Moving around to the side. Oh, wow, look at that. Andy Murasaki gets to restart with his foot. Like the stomp passing, that's very Ruotolo-esque kind of guard passing. The leg pin using the foot. Immediately gives it up and walks around, but stapling your opponent's limbs to the mat like that, it's such an effective way of passing the guard.
Natan was briefly considering trying to wrestle up there, but Murasaki put a stop to that with the knee in the chest.
I think we may see Natan try to wrestle up. If he can, yeah, he couldn't get it. He's trying to pass the, first of all, he was trying to pass the sleeve through between the legs to his left hand, just like we saw Alexandre Sodri do in the last match. or Fabricio Andre, I should say, was trying to do it in the last match. But he couldn't manage it. So he's elected to go for the lapel. But the problem is he's gone the same side lapel. And it's not a real strong lever. You really need the crossbody lapel through the legs and around the back of the thigh to really control the posture when you come up from a single leg. It's not the best grip you can get from there. And yeah, Nathan's gone back to playing lasso. Still 0-0. We're almost halfway through the match.
Yeah, Andy breaks the lasso grip here, drives back in. Started to try and pin the left leg of Natan against his own chest.
For me, it's good to see Andy Murasaki back down at lightweights. You know, he's competed at both lightweight and middleweight the last couple of years. This is the first time that he's back down at lightweight since hitting the Pan finals against Jonta Alves a couple of years ago. And I think he looks good at this weight class. You know, his power and his strength just match up against, you know, other people of this weight, and he seems to be miles ahead in terms of power. But nice off balancing from Nathan Chueng, briefly knocking Murasaki's hips to the mat. But knocking him down and keeping him down are two different things.
Yeah, quick to return on fire is Andy Murasaki. But Nathan Chueng holding his own out there so far.
It really is. I would be nervous about allowing his near side leg to be extended like that, to bring that knee away from his body. He needs to stay disciplined and needs to maintain that active core, knees close to the chest. This is better. He's brought his knees back in now. Andy, of course, wants to separate that knee as far away from the body as possible. He used that passing sequence a couple of times already today in different matches about bringing the near side knee far away from the upper body and replacing it, or placing a knee into the hip to block the recovery. And it worked really, really well. And I think Chueng knows that, but it's tough to maintain that discipline and the focus for a full 10 minutes without making one mistake that allows Murasaki to get there.
And Andy's more than a little bit effective at forcing those airs too, with the constant pressure, the in and out.
Yeah.
He really has one of the best gas tanks in the division.
The thing is with Andy as well, it's not even so much in and out. He doesn't back off too much.
No, that's true.
It's true, right? I mean, because we were talking about some of the other guys we saw earlier about how they push forward and then they back off to create an opening and allow a reaction and then go around. Andy just goes through. It just runs through a brick wall. Yeah, once again, Andy Murasaki stapled that near side leg to the mat, trying to extend it as far around as possible. And I just feel like he's getting closer and closer to the upper body. You see, he's literally this spinning in circles. He's walking around so much, and Nathan Chueng is using the lasso hook on the top or just bringing the leg across the free leg to recover. But Andy is so persistent. I feel like he's going to force a mistake soon and force an error. He's got 2.5 minutes to work. I mean, we've seen it happen today in a number of matches that decisive finishing sequences came in the last 30 or 45 seconds. So it just goes to show that, you know, there's no reason to step you off the gas pedal, because what you've been looking for the whole match could be right there. And if you give up too early because you think, I've tried for 9 minutes, I'm just going to cruise the rest of the match and I'm not going to win, you might as well not even be there. There it is again. The one thing that Chueng has done, actually, though, is that every time that Andy Murasaki controls that near side leg and extends it away from the body, he's denying Andy an upper body grip with the left hand.
Oh, a little drag there from Chueng. Yeah, well spotted how he has maintained a very effective defensive posture, let's call it, and opened up with a little bit of offense here and there, but for the most part in the last 5 minutes, it has been Murasaki sort of dictating the pace. I think despite the score being tied, Chueng needs to think about how to really start enacting a little bit of offense to try and maybe change the judge's mind here.
He's only had one momentary off-balancing, and Murasaki just popped straight back up off that. It wasn't even worth an advantage, and I'm not sure that that was significant enough to say that he's ahead. Murasaki has definitely been the one pressing the action, pushing forward, driving. And the judges, they're going to remember that. For 9 minutes, 10 minutes of the match, Murasaki's been constantly driving forward, pushing forward.
Oh, here we go. This looks pretty close.
Wow.
Rise up.
Yeah, he almost sent Murasaki over the top there. This is what I said about how you can't stop fighting. This is in the last 40 seconds and no advantage scored. But still.
And now
chasing
the 50-50 here. Might try and come up. Andy, of course, very well versed in this game as well as any high-level athlete is. But Chueng pouring on the tempo here. And I think that decision just became a little closer.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, but that's not good. Chueng just committed a huge error in attempting to throw his legs up and over the 50-50. He opened his legs just a fraction too wide, gave Murasaki an exit. Murasaki was so close. You can see it here. He came up, bridges up. Murasaki back heels his leg all the way out, almost onto the back. 2 advantages to Andy Murasaki now. What was a very even match literally was lost in the last 5 seconds.
Yeah, you know, I can't blame the time. He sold out. He wanted to go for broke and try and chase some kind of points there with the 50-50 sweep and just made a mistake. And you can't do that with Andy Murasaki.